Hello students, my name is Gitanjali and I am your English teacher. I welcome you all to the journey of learning English. I hope and wish that we have loads of activities, great fun and lots of learning throughout the session. Well, Gandhiji said, be the change that you want to see in others. Why am I talking about change? Well, this is the time where we all are facing a problem. That's COVID-19 pandemic. And we are forced to enclose ourselves into the homes, quarantine, doing all our chores, restricting ourselves, at the same time learning new things. Yes, this is a phase of change and transformation. And we need to put in the correct effort. We need to evolve and embrace this change for good. And change for good is always good. Yes, children, what kind of changes are we seeing around us? Today, you're learning at your homes. If you remember, last year, you were in the classrooms. So this is a big shift. This is a long way, a journey to be achieved both for us, you as students and we as teachers. So from classroom teaching to online teaching is a change, and we all need to welcome this change with utmost grace and modesty. Students, modesty is a shining light that prepares our mind for learning, and it helps our heart to embrace the change, to know the truth. So with this thought, I would like to welcome you all to your first class in English grammar, and the chapter would be Sentences, Kinds and Transformation. Well, we all have learned what sentences are. However, let's get back to our previous classes and gather some knowledge that we've learned from there. Well, look at the green board. What do you see here? There are some letters which are arranged, rather jumbled. Can you think of a name or a word which you could frame out of these jumbled words? Yes, children? Yes, I know you all have started working on it. Can I get the answer? Yes, you're right. The word over here which could be formed would be Yes, children? It could be smart. Yes, the quality which you all have. So now, show the smartness and try to recall what you learned in your previous classes about sentences and words. Yes, what are words? They are letters of English alphabet which are arranged in a particular way to give you a meaningful word. So word is a group of letters. Yes. Now, let's get to the exercise. Can you choose any two letters from this word and place it here to form another word? Let's see. It's easy. You have already guessed it, I'm sure. Yes, it's care. So let's go ahead and arrange it. So it's C-A, R-E. So it's C-A, care. This is the first thing that you should do to yourself and then to others. You should learn to care for yourself first and then for others. In continuation to the previous activity where we arranged the jumbled letters into words. So this time we are going to arrange the jumbled words to form a meaningful sentence. Well, I want you all to open your English grammar books and come to page number 1. Yes, children. On the page 1, you would see there's a yellow box. There you have jumbled words. I want you to read them and arrange them in a meaningful sentence. So look at the first example, rather the second one or the third one if you see. Kindly, me, informed, keep. So this does not make any sense to us. So now we start to arrange them in a particular order or position them in order to frame a meaningful sentence. So we would say kindly, keep me informed. Look at the first example there. Handwriting, you, what, have, beautiful, a. So yes, you will arrange it into what, a, beautiful, handwriting, you, have. So look at the punctuation now. In these sentences, the first sentence would end with a full stop. The second sentence here would end with an exclamation mark. Because here, the person is trying to admire a person's handwriting. Yes, students, we now come to the next topic of the chapter, that is the kinds of sentences. Well, how many kinds of sentences are there? There are 4 kinds of sentences. And what are they? They are, first one, declarative sentence, second, imperative sentence, the third one is the exclamatory sentence, fourth one is the interrogative sentence. Now, let's start learning about them one by one. First one, declarative sentence. Now this is a sentence which simply states something or it's a statement. They can be of 2 kinds. An affirmative and the other one would be the negative one. So there are 2 kinds again, affirmative and negative sentence. What is an affirmative sentence? It simply states something that I can do, and the negative one would be that I can't do. Now, please note, come to your textbook on page number 1 and look at the table given in your textbooks. It says declarative sentence or assertive sentence. Look at the example there. The woman bought potatoes. We went for a picnic last week. If you have noticed here, the declarative sentence starts with a capital letter as all the sentences would do. It makes a statement and it ends with a full stop. Now let's move on to the second type, which is an imperative sentence. Imperative sentences simply makes requests or orders or gives command. Look at the book again and read the examples there. The first one says sit down. That is an order. You should leave early and reach the airport on time. That is an advice. Please keep quiet. That is a request. So, the imperative sentences would make a request, order, or give a command. Okay? So, if you look at the last one, here they end with the full stop and they begin with the capital letter. Now time to move on to the third kind of sentence. Now what is that? It is the interrogative sentence here. So it simply asks question. It ends with a question mark and it begins with a capital letter. Look at the example in your books. It says, is Nisha in town? Will you water the plants? So these are the questions. Let's move on to the next one. The last one is the exclamatory sentence. It begins with a capital letter. It expresses a strong emotion or a feeling, and it ends with an exclamation mark. For example, it says, what big teeth you have. How fast the cheetah runs. So children, time for an activity. We just learned the 4 kinds of sentences. Now you will have to identify the sentences. The activity here is to read the sentences and then identify what kind of sentence it is. Whether it is a declarative, assertive, or an interrogative sentence, imperative, or an exclamatory sentence. So let's start. Naveen went to the airport to drop his mother. So what kind of sentence is this? I'm sure you all know it. Yes, children? Yes, it is a statement. It's a declarative sentence. So you can go ahead and put the short form D. Second, how delicious the fish platter is. Well, here it's a strong feeling or an emotion about the food, right? So this is a, yes children, I know you would have guessed it. Yes, you're right. That's a exclamatory sentence. Are you moving into your new house? Yes, it's simply asking a question and it ends with a question mark. Now, this is an interrogative sentence. The last one says, go to your room. It says, go to your room. So it's in order. So which kind of sentence is this? Yes? Yes, children, you are right. It's an imperative sentence. So here you will write the short form I am. Now I want you to take your English grammar books, come to page 2 and look at the question number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Read them carefully and then identify the sentences and complete the activity. So students, time for the next exercise. Come to page number 2 on your grammar book and read the question. It says, rearrange the jumbled words into 2 meaningful sentences. Use proper punctuation, capital letters wherever needed. The kinds of sentences to be formed is written in brackets. One has been done for you. So look at the first example. Who the window opened. Open the opened window. So they are asking us to frame an imperative sentence and an interrogative sentence from these jumbled words. If you look at the first one, it is open the window. It's a order. So that's an imperative sentence. Who opened the window? It's asking us a question and that is an interrogative sentence. So we use capital letters for both the sentences in the starting, as I mentioned you on the flow chart, and then it ends with full stop for imperative, question mark for interrogative. So now let's work on the second one. Now that's this one. Mother is making strawberry shake. So this is the answer for your second question. I want you to go through the sentence once. How strawberries making juicy the shake, our mother is strawberry. Well, this is not making any sense. So we shall read it again. How strawberries making juicy the shake, our mother is strawberry. Okay? So we try to take out the words first to form an exclamatory sentence. So that would be, mother is making strawberry shake. How juicy are the strawberries? So here we have the exclamatory sentence and then we have the assertive sentence. So how would you solve these questions? Let's now start understanding to solve the question. Here you will read the jumbled words, okay? Then you will arrange them into the sentences mentioned in the brackets, which is in red in your textbooks, and then punctuate them. Simple? Yes. So when you are reading, you should be careful to position the words as we did in the first activity of the chapter. So let's look at the second one. Don't please notebook in scribble. Where my did you your find notebook lost? Yes, you must be lost, right? How to arrange these words? They're like way too many words. So the first thing that we would do is to read the sentence or the jumbled words twice. Then second, we would go ahead and identify the subject. Once we have identified the subject, we would look for the related words from the jumbled words. Like what? If the subject is a noun, then we look for the adjectives. Then we look for the verb, adverbs, associate them together. Put the prepositions in the places. Position the pronouns accordingly in the sentence. Yes? So these are the 4 steps that we should follow in order to solve this exercise. Yes? So the first one was done for you. The second one I did for you. The third, I am giving you the steps for you to follow for the next questions coming up. So let's begin with solving the question number 3. It says, don't please notebook in scribble. Where my did you your find notebook lost? So here I am trying to read it, however I am getting this to the point, that is the subject. It's talking about the notebook, right? So first thing it is trying to tell me, look at the bracket, what is it that I need to look for? I need to look for an imperative, which would be an order, command or request. So first we will go about finding that particular sentence. So for that I would simply find out the word please, because that brings me to the imperative sentence. So I will put the please word in the first. So please. Then if you see the word don't, this matches with the, it's somewhat related to the, it comes in the flow. So we pick that word. So please don't. Then if you see, there is a verb that we need to have, because the structure of sentences is simply like the subject, verb and the object. So this is the standard structure of a simple sentence. So now you need to focus on this structure as well. So please don't, go to the verb scribble. Now where would you scribble? Here we have so many words. look for the prepositions. And what are we going to scribble on? The notebook. So put the notebook there, but position the prepositions in between. So please don't scribble in my notebook. Isn't it simple? Yes, it is. So that is your imperative sentence. Next one is interrogative sentence. What is interrogative sentence? It simply asks a question, right? So now the next trick is just to underline all the words which you have already used in this sentence. So what does that mean? It means that you would ignore those underlined words. Alright children? You would ignore those underlined words. And then choose the rest of the words and frame a question. So if you see there, the words that are remaining here is where my did you find notebook lost? Sorry, where did your find notebook lost? So we have to start with a yes or no question word. So for that, what are we going to do? We find here did you. So did you, it gives you the answer yes or no. So this is a yes or no question word which is there in the jumbled words. So we position them in the first, okay. So did you find, put the verb. Now what is it they are trying to find? Relate it, verb and the subject. There should be an association with it. So your lost notebook, and punctuate it with a question mark. Isn't it easy, kids? I'm sure by now you would have understood how to solve these questions. So now let us quickly recall. What is a word? Can anybody tell me? Yes children, group of letters arranged in a meaningful way to give a meaning to the word is called a word. What is a sentence? That is the second thing we learned. A sentence is a group of words arranged in such a way so as to give us a meaning, right? Then we learned the 4 kinds of sentences. What are they? Yes, that's right. Wow, I feel so overwhelmed by listening to your answers. Very good children. It is declarative sentence. Second is imperative sentence. Third is interrogative sentence. And the fourth is your exclamatory sentence. Now, we understood how we could write these 4 types of sentences and what do they mean. Well, I want you to recall them and give me the answer. So what is a declarative sentence? Yes? Yes, it is a statement. Starts with a capital letter, ends with a full stop. Second, imperative sentence. It makes requests, orders or commands and it ends with a full stop. Third is a exclamatory sentence. It begins with a capital letter, ends with a punctuation mark and expresses an extreme feeling or emotion. The last, interrogative sentence, starts with a capital letter, ends with a question mark and simply asks question. So these were the kinds of sentences that you learned. Then we also learned how to identify these sentences. We learned how to arrange the jumbled words into different kinds of sentences. So students, lots of learning and no fun is a little boring work, right? So time for some fun. Here I have a few riddles for you to solve. Let's see if you can solve them. So here I go. What's black when you get it, red when you use it, and white when you are all through it? Yes, any guesses, children? Yes? Yes, you're right. The answer is coal. Let's go on to the next riddle. Well, I'm wet. I come from the clouds. You will never see me on a warm day. What am I? Yes, it's white in color, comes from the cloud, and you won't see it on a warm day. What it could be? Yes, you're right. It is snow. Let's have another riddle. You can feel me, but you can't see me. I can be gentle or wild. I can make things move. I can even make a cloud move. What am I? Yes, any guesses? Yes, children, you're right. A wind which can be strong or gentle. It can even move the clouds, and that's how we get rainfall. Yes? Very true. And if it is wild, then it's a storm. If it is gentle, then it's a breeze. Yes, in all cases, it's the love of nature. So that's the wind. Time for the next topic now. As I said, change is good and we should embrace it. Allow the fires of transformation to change or transform or burn away everything that does not serve you. It brings me to this point of good habits. Well, we all should try to change our bad habits into good habits, and that is transformation. If we start at early age, then we will transform into a good person, which would be liked by everyone. Yes? So, transformation is also unlearning something that is not required. So, this brings me to the topic that is transformation of sentences. If you can recall, in the beginning of the chapter, we understood that the declarative sentences are of two types, that is assertive and negative. It says, I can swim, which is an assertive sentence, and the negative to it would be, I cannot swim. Yes? So this is simply a negation, a statement in negation. So now, is that a real transformation of sentences? Not really. So let us come and understand what transformation of sentences is. Look at this. Changing the sentences without altering its meaning is called sentences or sentence transformation. I said sentences to be changed or sentence transformation. So here we need to understand that we can change a sentence, okay, or just alter the sentence but not the meaning. That is the real transformation of sentences. Look at the examples here. Everybody was present. It says everybody was present. So the changed sentence to negative would be nobody was absent. If you notice here, nobody is a negative word, absent again is a negative word. However, if you look at these two sentences, they both are trying to say the same thing. Yes, so everybody was present, nobody was absent. So this is a change or transformation of an assertive sentence to a negative sentence. Let's look at another example. Few people know me. That's an assertive sentence. Not many people know me. That is a negative sentence. Here you have the negation or a negative word. Okay, so not many people know me. That is the transformation of assertive sentence to negative sentence. We come to the second type of transformation, or the second set of sentences to be transformed. Here, interrogative sentence to an assertive sentence. So you are going to transform a question into a statement, a positive statement. So here, look at the example. Could the day get any better? Well, this is a question, and how do you change it? The day couldn't get any better, right? So what do you do here? You basically try to remove the yes no question word, yes no answer question word into the statement. So you remove this could and then start with the day, and then you add the couldn't, could not get any better. So basically here you would add not to the could. Look at the second example here. Is he not a bright student? Question mark. That's an interrogative sentence. How do you change that? So you remove this is, basically you would, is a yes or no question word. You remove that question word, and then you would start with the statement that he is a bright student. So he is asking, is he not a bright student? He is a bright student. So you remove is and not. So you basically try to remove all that is asking question and then put the words again in the order to make the assertive sentence. I hope this type of transformation is clear. So children, we now move on to the next transformation, that is from exclamatory sentences into assertive sentences. So look at these examples. We already know what these sentences are. What an excuse. It's an exclamatory sentence. So here you will remove what and start the sentence with this. This is an excuse. So simply stating it or making it a statement would be the change here. What an inspiring speech she gave. So here you remove the what and then write she gave an inspiring speech. So basically you will start here, the end part will be taken and put here because this is the subject that we're talking about. So you position the subject in the starting, remove this question or exclamation word, and then you add all the other following up words. So that is the way to change an exclamatory sentence to an assertive sentence. Yes children, we now come to another types of transformation of sentences, which is assertive to interrogative, and the next one would be assertive to exclamatory. When you did see that you changed assertive to negative, you saw we changed interrogative to assertive, we changed exclamatory to assertive. Now it's time for the vice versa. Here if you see, no one can surpass her oratory skills. So this is an assertive sentence. Now we need to change it into a question, an interrogative sentence. So here we can just remove this from the sentence and then we would add, can anyone surpass her oratory skills, and then end it with a question mark. So the whole concept here is to get the question word right in front or right in the starting of the question. So can, yes or no, will be the answer to it. So this is a yes or no question word which should be added at the beginning of every question or an interrogative sentence. So can anyone surpass her oratory skills? Let's look at the second one. Here, assertive to exclamatory. Here if you see, the painting is beautiful. Yes, the painting is beautiful. It's simply a assertive, positive assertive statement. Now, to make it or change it to exclamatory, you simply add how beautiful, right? How beautiful the painting is. Or you could also say it, what a beautiful painting, and then end it with a question, exclamation mark. But here, if you see, usually the exclamatory sentences end with the exclamation mark or a is here for it. So these were the two types of changes. Let's move on to practice some exercises. Yes, children, we shall now move on to practice or learn some more examples in relation to the concept that we just understood. Now, we understood how we could change the types of sentences into another. I want you to come to the page number 5 on your English grammar books. Come on the learn topic given there, the exercise which is given there. Now read after me. Transform these sentences into the type mentioned within the brackets. So here, first one, have you completed your homework? So how do you solve this exercise? You will have to read this once or twice, the sentences. Then identify the kind of sentence it is. Change to the next type of sentence which is given there. Right? So first read the question, then check what I need to change it to, and then start changing it. Let me help you do the first one. Haven't you completed your homework? Yes, it is an interrogative sentence. Now what am I supposed to change it to? I have to be changing it to assertive sentence. So what will be the answer to it? I have completed my homework, because it is a assertive sentence. Let's look at the second one. It was a terrible crash. This is an assertive sentence. Correct? Now we have to change it to exclamatory sentence. So how would we do that? Look at this. As I told you in the earlier section, you will replace the what with the sentence. So what you will replace it with, you will replace it with what. So what a terrible crash it was. So it was a terrible crash will be changed to what a terrible crash it was. That ends with a exclamation mark, and this completes your task for the second question. Now try solving the third one by yourself. I want you to read it twice, then read what is given in the bracket and then solve it. Yes? What a lovely place this is. Read it again. What a lovely place this is. Yes, it's an exclamation or exclamatory sentence. I have to change it to assertive. So what are we going to do? Yes, we're going to remove what, okay, and then I would say this is a lovely place. So here this is a lovely place and put a full stop instead of the exclamation mark. Let's move on to the next question. That is, I do not have an extra pen. So this is a negative statement which I would want to change to interrogative. So how would you do that? Yes, I do not have. So I would change or add the yes or no question word. So do I have? Do I have an extra pen? And then the question. Dear students, now it's time to practice or work on the exercises given in your textbooks related to transformation of sentences. Come to page 5 on your English textbook. Look at the practice exercise A. Follow the instructions and transform these affirmative sentences to negative. Well, these statements have to be changed to negative statements, and in the bracket they have given us to use certain set of words along in the negative sentence. So the first one, the teacher is sometimes strict. Yes, this is an affirmative sentence. So what will be the answer to this? We have to position not always into the sentence and make it a negative sentence. So, but we should not change the meaning. So the teacher is sometimes strict. However, the correct answer would be the teacher is not always strict. So here the teacher is not always strict. So here you've added not always, and the meaning of the sentence remains the same. Let's move on to the second question. As soon as the clock struck 10, I went to bed. Excuse me. I repeat the question. As soon as the clock struck 10, I went to bed. So here the prompt for us is to begin the sentence with no sooner and then to use than somewhere in between and change it to the negative one. So it says no sooner because it will start with the no sooner because it is indicated there. So you start the sentence with no sooner. Then you write than the clock struck 10, then I wanted to go to bed. So here we make changes. How? No sooner than the clock struck 1, then I wanted to go to bed. So you wanted to go to bed as soon as the clock struck 10. Alright children. Now let's move on to the next exercise, that is exercise B. Come to page 6 on your English grammar books. It is transform these negative sentences to affirmative sentences. One has been done for you. It says Mahima never wakes up early. So this is a negative statement. You need to change it to an affirmative sentence. Mahima always wakes up late. So this is again changing to an assertive statement but not changing its meaning. He did not stay for many weeks in Mumbai. So the answer would be he stayed for many weeks in Mumbai. So that will be the answer. Abir is not as strong as Rohan. Answer would be Rohan is stronger than Abir. Alright children, so this was the example for exercise B and the 2 questions that we solved. You will have to do the rest of the questions at home and later the answers would be sent to you. Yes children, now it's time to move on to the next exercise, that's exercise C. Now in this exercise you were asked to transform these interrogative sentences into assertive sentences and vice versa. The first one is done for you. So you are going to change the questions into assertive and then the assertives into questions. Is it true that knowledge is power? It's a question. It is true that knowledge is power. This is an assertive sentence. So you basically going to remove the question words and place the words in such a way that it starts to be a statement. How can man remain immortal? It's a question. So how do we change this into a statement? Look here. Man can and remain immortal. So you remove the question words and simply state the statement with the subject starting. Next one. You have the next question there. Come to fourth one, because this is the other or the vice versa thing that we're doing. They haven't been talking much lately. They haven't been talking much lately. So this is the statement. You need to change it to a question. So the question would be, have they been talking much lately? So it's basically, what have you done? You've given an answer to the question that is asked there. Okay, so this is the way. Try doing the next questions by yourself. Let's move on to the exercise D, that's on page 7 in your textbooks. So what does this question ask us to do? Transform these exclamatory sentences into assertive sentences and vice versa. So here the first one is done. Let's read it. So this is indeed a pleasant surprise. So this is a statement. Change it to a exclamation or exclamatory statement. What a pleasant surprise, and you complete it with a exclamation mark. So look at the second one. The sea is very rough today. Yeah? So how do you change it? How rough is the sea today? Ends with an exclamation mark. Or you could also write it in a different way. That is, how rough today the sea is. So this also could be the possible answer. Move on to the next question. That is question number 3. What a pity he failed in the examination. That's an exclamatory sentence. So how do you change it? You simply remove the how or what a pity. So just remove that, and then it is a pity. It is pity he failed in the examination. Okay? So this is the changed assertive sentence. Children, it's time to end the chapter with the developmental activity. Now, look at the structures of sentences here on the green board. These are the structures of the sentences that you would be transforming, that you have already done. So you can use these structure as your, say, formula to change the sentences. So let's begin with first one, that's exclamatory to assertive. So how do you change an exclamatory sentence to an assertive? That we've already learned. However, now we're going to apply the same knowledge and conclude with a formula. So you can have this formula to change the sentences further. So it starts with how. The exclamatory sentence would start with how or what. Then you will have the adjective following it. Then you have the subject, verb, and it ends with is and the exclamation mark. Okay? So let's look at the example here again. How beautiful that bird is. So how beautiful is the adjective, that bird is the subject, and is the verb. Okay? Now look at the other example, that is the other way around. How do I change the assertive into the exclamatory? Then my assertive sentence would start with a subject, right? And then verb, and then you will add very, and at last you will have the adjective. So let's look at this. Here, when we had the example, that bird is very beautiful. What is it? That bird is very beautiful. So here if you look, it started with the subject, that bird. The verb is. You have very, and then the adjective, which is beautiful. Okay? So let's look at the second one. Affirmative. Okay, what is the structure of affirmative sentences? This starts with the subject, then you have the verb, you have to position the preposition here in between before the object. Okay? So let's look at the example. Cats jump into boxes. So cat is the subject, jump, verb, into is the preposition, before the object, that is the boxes. Now we move on to the next one, that is interrogative to assertive. Or how do you change it? Or how should an interrogative sentence look like? So your structure is yes or no, answer questions. It's like did you or do you? So you get the answer yes, no, maybe, like that. So yes, no, answer questions. Then you have the verb followed by it. Here you have the subject, then the preposition before the object. Okay? So do you jump into the box? This is the example. So here you see, do you jump into the box? Okay? So sometimes the subject might be positioned according to the verb. So the next one is WH or how interrogative word, that is what, where, when or how. So these words would be the starting word of the interrogative statement or the sentence. So this word plus verb, subject, then you position the preposition before the object. Look at this example. Why do you jump into the box? It's an interrogative sentence. So why do you jump into the box? Right? So again the positioning of the subject would be on the basis of the verb. Now the last one is the imperative. You all know imperatives requests, orders and gives command. So how would it start? It would start with a verb because it wants you to do something. So it's like please keep quiet or open the door. So the verb comes first, then preposition before the object. So please open the door. So look at this example. Stand in a queue at the bus stop. Yes, stand in the queue. At the is again the preposition because the sentence is a big one. So the object is the bus stop. Students, we have come to the end of the chapter. So I started with a change. I told you to be a change that you wish to see. And this is the phase where we are undergoing a lot of transformation from classroom teaching to online teaching. So now you've come to a phase, how would I learn all this? So here are a few tips before I leave you. Plan your studies. Okay, the first thing is plan your studies. Then you shall be able to do your work in an order. Second, schedule your time. Have some time for watching the videos. Then have some time to do a recall or a recap for what you've learned. Have some time to work on the exercises. And then you are there. Bingo! So yes, these are the 2 small tips to start with. Hope you have enjoyed the class and hope to see you soon. I wish you be healthy and safe. Bye-bye.